All right, everybody, I'm calling to order this Board of Education meeting. It is Monday, August 25th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. We're in the Nashua North Boardroom. Ms. Lampier, can you do the roll call?
Sure. Ms. Darling is not here. I am here. Ms. Raymond?
Here.
Ms. Prin?
Here.
Mr. Claffey?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
And I don't know if I'm the first to get to say this, but I'm very excited. Ms. Lopez?
Here.
Okay. Ms. Giglio?
Here.
And Ms. Bishop?
Here.
Okay, and then we also have Dr. Andrade, Mr. Posca, Dr. Scarpati, and Mr. Gray. And we have one of our student reps, Shah, right? Every time. So Sheikh Hamid is here. I'm so sorry.
That was my name tag over there.
Okay.
Okay. So after you do the opening statement, Ms. Lopez, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
As elected officials, we have the high honor and the serious duty of managing the educational institutions of our beloved city. In our common endeavors, may we find a spirit of unity and understanding, which will enable us to face our multiple problems with an objective mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so no recognition or presentation items tonight. I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Giglio, thank you, Ms. Raymond. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. This brings us up to our first public comment question period. Do we have anybody signed up? Okay. Gary Hoffman, come on down. I feel like the price is right.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street, Townhouse D, Nashua, New Hampshire. The item on the agenda I'm going to speak about tonight is the Memorandum of Understanding between the Nashua Teachers Union and the Nashua Board of Education, the differential for special education. As you all know, we signed a new teacher's contract this past summer. And in contract negotiations, there's a lot of items that are discussed, and sometimes you're not ever able to figure out every single detail during negotiations. In the contract, the language in Article 411 provides for a $1,500 special differential for special educators to be paid in the first paycheck of the school year. But that was pretty much all the language said. So there are questions. We have a few part-time special educators. Do they get the full stipend? Do they get part of the stipend? Do they get the stipend at all? It wasn't really answered. And then, what if, since it is the first paycheck of the year, what if somebody left in the third week of September? Would they get all of the stipend? And so I met with Dr. Andrade this summer, and we came up with sort of this compromise where part-time special educators would receive a prorated amount. So if you're a 0.5 special educator, you would receive $750. And then if someone were to leave early, and especially if they're to leave really early in the school year, they would receive a prorated amount. Now, the superintendent would have the sole authority to waive that in this agreement. So I think this just answers a few of the some of the unanswered questions, about this language. And I think it makes our contract stronger and better. And I urge you to adopt it. Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us up to our superintendent's comments, so I will hand the floor over to Dr. Andrade.
Thank you, and welcome to the 25-26 school year. It's hard to believe that we welcomed our faculty and staff in today, and we'll welcome our students tomorrow. So I want to thank the community for the continued partnership and commitment to the students of Nashua. Our district-wide theme, Gateway to Opportunity, continues to guide our vision and actions as we work to strengthen our systems that support student learning and expand the pathways that empower all learners. This year, our collective efforts will center around several key priorities: strengthening Tier 1 curriculum instruction and assessment, expanding family and community engagement, enhancing instructional support, expanding real-world learning opportunities, and fostering safety, belonging, and well-being. Over the summer, a committee of nearly 30 dedicated educators, staff, family, and community members met 6 times to co-develop the district's next strategic improvement plan. Their work represents a deep commitment to our district's future and will serve as a roadmap for continuous improvement over the next few years. We will be presenting that draft back to the subcommittee in a couple weeks before it comes to the Board of Education. So the work's not done yet, but we really want to thank that committee for their tireless effort over the summer. In parallel, we are also developing our facilities master plan to ensure that our physical spaces align with our instructional vision and needs of our growing student population, in a diverse growing student population. Our next facilities master planning subcommittee is this upcoming Wednesday, and we're hoping to finish that work by December and January. I also want to extend my sincere gratitude to our plant operations department for their tireless effort in preparing our schools for opening day. Their behind-the-scenes work ensures our buildings are safe, clean, and welcoming for all. This morning, we were proud to unveil our new district website. I don't know if anybody had a chance to get on it. It actually looks really good. It's designed to better serve families with easier access to information in an improved communication tool. Last week, we welcomed over 120 new employees to the district during our NTO. I want to thank Dr. Scarpati and Mr. Posca for coordinating the new teacher orientation, as well as many of our partners behind the scene, NTU, our kitchen staff, Laurie Desmarais in the Assistant Superintendent's office, many of our coordinators and support staff for coming up with a very robust agenda. A heartfelt thank you to all who made Nashua Goes Back to School a tremendous success once again. This event could not happen without the generous support of our community partners. I also want to acknowledge the Nashua Soup Kitchen and Shelter, as well as Costco, who donated over 1,000 backpacks and some back-to-school supplies. We're really grateful for their partnerships. So let's continue working together to make this year of growth, connection, and opportunity for every learner. So welcome back to school.
I'm sure we want to get out of here early tonight so that we can proudly move our kids back to where they belong, out of the house and into school. I'll start over here with response to superintendent's comments. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you, and I am so thankful and appreciative of all the work that was done over the summer, getting everything ready for back to school. I said at the HR committee, what a great job everyone had done, recruiting and interviewing and getting us to a good staffing place to start the year. One thing, though, that I would be remiss if I didn't mention is that this year I have gotten more calls from parents of high schoolers who have scheduling problems with their students' schedule than I have gotten in the previous 8 years combined. I'm hearing about kids who have been put in classes they've already taken, kids who have gotten like multiple quarters of gym, kids who are being put into higher level language classes without taking the lower level language classes. And I'm hearing about AP courses that are only being provided to students at one high school and not to the other at all. And this is all really concerning, and I'm
hearing from a lot of stressed out people, especially parents of seniors who are worried about how this is going to impact their children's ability to graduate and also apply for college with the things that they need. So I've been sending everybody to guidance. So apologies to the guidance counselors. But I do want to bring it to the attention of everybody else so that we can spend this week fixing that before things get too far into the year.
Yes. Ms. Prin?
I would also like to welcome everyone back. Today was my first day back in the classroom, so I'm feeling kind of punchy, but I know all the work that all the teachers and pairs and everyone, the staff, that they put into to get their classrooms ready. And I just hope everyone's ready and happy to start when the kids come on Wednesday. I'll be happy to send my child to school too.
Mr. Glaffey?
No comment.
Mr. Johnson?
It's amazing to think that school's starting and this is the first time I don't have to get two people ready to get to school. I know, right? I will be getting them to college this week, but yeah, it's a different feeling to not have to get anyone ready and off to South. One kid who would make it on time, one kid who would be a little late. But I wish everyone a great school year and good luck to all.
Thank you. Ms. Gilio?
I've been retired from the library world in the schools for 9 years, and yet I still get very excited the day before school opens, so I'm thrilled. And thanks to everyone who did all the hard work to get us to where we are today and where we're going to be tomorrow. Thank you.
Ms. Lopez?
I just want to welcome everyone back to this school year. I second everything that Mr. Johnson said because this is my first year out of 4 kids, not having to get anyone up and out, but college is on strong. So thank you so much.
Ms. Lampier?
So I actually have never attended a Nashua Back to School night because I don't have any young kids and I don't really like crowds. But after seeing all the pictures for the past couple of years, I really think that I need to go next year. And it made me think this year, seeing how happy everyone looked and all the people that were there and how great it was for all the kids and parents to meet the principals, that our Nashua community is really something special. And it's one of the greatest assets of our school district. So I just wanted to, acknowledge all that they do for us. So thank you if anyone's watching.
It was a fun event, and I would come next year, and there are a couple of us that go and just linger, and it's fun. Right. All right. Student response?
It's my final home stretch. So
Is this your last meeting?
no, it's not my last meeting, but it's
his
last year,
Yeah.
senior year.
Don't you guys switch over soon to new board members?
December, I think.
December?
Yeah,
Okay.
we go the full year.
Okay.
So and then, it's
Are you ready?
for college. Maybe, probably not though. Just gotta get it done with, and
Yeah.
no,
But it's a good time.
yeah.
We're here to support you.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, back to school time. This brings us up to our first committee. So Ms. Lampier, I will hand the floor over to you for finance and operations.
Okay. The first motion I have is to approve the contract with Allied Universal for the annual licensing in support of 26 network video recorders across the school district in the amount of $39,800.57. Funding is from line 91.1.222,620? Okay, 0.53628 contract services. And these are the recorders that monitor the schools to keep everybody safe.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Glaffey.
Any comments or questions? Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the contract with Allied Universal for the amount of $39,800.57, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next motion is to approve the proposal by Eckhart and Johnson to provide and install 12 roof-mounted exhaust fans at New Searles Elementary School in the amount of $39,946.08. Funding is from the school district's deferred maintenance line.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Claffey. Any comments or questions? Mr. Johnson, then Ms. Raymond.
Is this along with the renovations being done for the security vestibule? Or is this separate?
I'm going to have Mr. Smith come up to verify a couple things, please.
Short answer is yes. So the project, the construction project's taking care of roughly half of this, and this is taking care of the other half. Alderman Dowd indicated that he didn't think it was appropriate for a secure vestibule taking care of HVAC issues elsewhere in the school. But we are replacing the rooftop units that are above the areas we've worked on.
Thanks.
Ms. Raymond?
I had the same question, why the New Searles project wasn't paying for it. But I guess if we're only touching part of the HVAC system, that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's just the vestibule. Anything else we need to know, Mr. Smith?
I think that covers it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the proposal by Eckert and Johnson to install the 12 roof-mounted exhaust fans in the amount of $39,946.08, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Was there some sort of like under $40,000 rule for finance and operations? I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Anything 10,000 and above, we can change that.
No, I know, but
if
it was,
you'd
they
like.
were both $39,000. I thought there was some sort of like, we're sticking to a
Typo.
budget. All right, Ms. Lampier, sorry.
Okay, the next one is more than $39,000, unfortunately. It's a motion to approve the contract with Control Technologies for a period of 3 years for maintenance of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning controls in 15 schools in the annual amount of $194,922. And funding is from line 91.1.222.620.54243 HVAC maintenance.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Claffey, I heard first. Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So this is only covering the 15 out of all the schools that we survey. Who's covering the rest of the schools?
Mr. Smith?
That's a separate contractor, that's called Siemens. So they have those schools, and then Control Technologies has the rest of them.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Johnson?
Just a quick question of why McCarthy is so much compared to Pennachuck and Pennachuck.
It's a significantly larger school, so a lot more controls, more modern. It's got a lot of new air handlers and other control devices. And we basically pay by the control device.
Okay, thank you.
If I could continue, so a question arose in the committee, why is Dr. Chris so much more than other elementary schools? That is the burden we have because we have not renovated that school yet. Again, you pay by control device. Dr. Crisp is all classrooms are unit ventilators. And in our more modern renovated schools, one air handler handles 6, 8 classrooms. So it's a pure numbers game.
That McCarthy HVAC room is by far one of the coolest places I've ever been. I just think it's neat though, but you guys know me in HVAC systems. I just think it's a cool, anyway, my dork is showing. I think I could stay in there all day long. Anyway, any other comments or questions?
Oh, I just wanted to thank Mr. Smith for finding out that, because I was the one that asked that question, and thank you for getting the answer for me.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, any other comments or questions? Okay, so on the motion to approve the contract with Control Technologies for a period of 3 years for maintenance of the HVAC controls in 15 schools in the amount of $194,922. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the next motion is to approve the purchase order to Allied Universal for the annual security system district-wide maintenance and repair contract in the amount of $100,374.96. And the funding is from line 91.1.222620.53628 contract services.
Second.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the purchase order for Allied Universal for the annual security system district-wide maintenance and repair in the amount of $100,374.96, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next motion is to approve an amount not to exceed $91,400 plus contingency of $5,000 for a total of $96,400.
500.
That was my weird math. The number should be 96,400 because you just want an extra 5,000. So I don't know, I added an extra 100 in there for some reason. So I'm just gonna change it and make the motion again. Motion to approve an amount not to exceed $91,400 plus contingency of $5,000 for a total of $96,400 to provide crack repair and resurfacing of tennis courts at Nashua High School South and Nashua High School North. The funding is from deferred maintenance.
Second.
And I just wanted to explain that we at first considered making this contract with a company from Florida. But Mr. Smith, when he did his due diligence and talked to this company, was unable to find anyone who had got their work done and it had gone through a whole season of the winter. So we wrote this motion so that he has enough money to go to the second lowest bidder.
And I think just to confirm on that, so Mr. Smith, I know, has an update. We are going to move forward with the second proposal on the list, even though it is slightly higher. To Regan's point, you know, this company, the first bidder is out of Jacksonville, Florida. I think we all talked internally. Mr. Smith did his due diligence to try to get some additional references. You know, I was hesitant to say, you know, we have very different winters here in New Hampshire than they have down in Florida. Price sometimes isn't always the best. You get what you pay for. So I think just based off of some of the references that we were able to check, we are going to move forward with the second quote that is on the list. And this definitely will cover it.
Yeah, so typically you award a bid to the lowest qualified bidder. Qualified is the key item there, and I was not able to satisfy myself that the low bid was indeed qualified. They provided 4 references. One had 1 court was done. The second reference worked for the guy, so I said, "You're not a reference." And 2 other references didn't respond at all. The New England's sports floor, who is the next qualified bidder, had provided 4 references, and every single one of them spoke glowingly of their company. And we've personally had a lot of dealings with them inside the buildings because they do all our wooden floors, basketball courts and whatnot. So I'm very confident in going with that firm. And it's at the same amount that you, Ms. Lampier, mentioned.
Mr. Smith, I think you mentioned at the committee meeting that when you set up the deferred maintenance plan, you had allotted $100,000 for the tennis courts, so it's still within the budget that you were looking for?
That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, I appreciate all of that extra work to get our tennis courts back up and moving. Well, not back up, but I'm sure they're hard to compete on when there are cracks. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you. So I apologize because I came late to finance, so I missed this whole discussion. Why, I understand why we're not going with the lowest, and I completely agree with that decision because it is significantly lower, it's half, right? But then the next one above this one is double what this one is, and the other one is almost triple what this one is. So why is there such a big disparity? They're all for completely resurfacing, right? Not like just putting the lines on?
They all had the same spec. They all had, I told them what kind of paint to use. I actually did an amendment to the original bid to specify a specific type of crack filler. It's basically that instead of just filling the crack, we are treating it almost like drywall, where you have a crack, you fill it, you put tape in front of it, then you mud over that again, and it's almost the same method in the tennis courts. That raised each bid for each high school about $3,000 each. I think it's well worth it. That'll help them last much longer. But to answer your question, I have no idea why they're so far apart from each
I
other.
just, like, the high one was $250,000. Like, I feel like that's a whole new tennis court. All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the purchase order, nope. Sorry, I meant not to exceed $91,400 plus the contingency of $5,000 to provide crack repair and resurfacing of the Nashua tennis courts at North and South High Schools. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the next motion is to approve the special education contracts listed on the Finance and Ops memo dated August 19th, 2025, with the exception of Teach Town and the Carroll Center Services for IEP students, which are grant funded. The funding is to come from the operating budget.
Second.
And this, I would encourage everybody here and anybody watching to take a look at this memo, because there's a lot on it, and it's really, this is really important services. We need these contract services, but they're also quite expensive. So take a look at it, and it will help you to understand our financial picture going forward this year.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think you're absolutely right. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you. So I have a couple of questions about this. And the first one is, if we are able to recruit more special educators to take some of these positions, is there in these contracts the ability to use less of their services?
Yep. So that answer is yes, absolutely. We've worked with the special ed department to go ahead and make sure there's some type of what I'll call exit clause in there. It's usually a 30-day or 60-day notice. All but one has a 30-day notice in it. White Birch has a 60-day notice in it. So yes, if 15 special educators walk through the door today, we will have 30 days to pay these contract service folks, and then we are able to go ahead and move forward with our own staff.
Okay.
That would be ideal, right? Unfortunately, I think to the conversation that we had during the Finance and Ops meeting is we know this was one of the two big areas of just over budget stuff last year. I think from a financial standpoint, we're doing a position control project. We're doing some conversations internally and looping in the city to say, if these costs continue, if it continues to be challenging to find the staff, what is our solution? To make sure, A, our student needs are met first and foremost, and then B, financially, how can we make sure that we're supported as the district?
Okay. And then so I appreciate that. And I don't think 60 days is unreasonable, because White Birch does speech language pathologists, and there just aren't that many out there. So, there's not going to be an army of speech language pathologists who like unloads in Nashua and is ready to work. And then my second question is, are any of these positions, I guess they're not just positions, the contracts, because I know some of it is for professional development and some other things as well, or is that a different motion? No, that is part of this motion. So is any of that related to the review of the restraint and seclusion reports from last year? Or is that a totally separate issue? I thought the last contract,
I was
Are
going to
you
say,
are you thinking about the ESS contract that,
oh, possibly.
I was just going to add, I think the only, and Dr. Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, where the special ed team's not here. My understanding, the only piece that is more of like a curriculum PD service is Teach Town, and Teach Town is actually being funded through a federal grant.
Okay.
So Teach Town is more of an FYI of here's what we're spending federal funds on. It's not a motion or approval from the Board of Education.
Okay, thank you.
the ESS contract, several meetings ago, we went over, and that provides special education training for, especially around intensive needs with students with behavioral concerns. And that's more in line with the special education review.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the special education contracts listed in the F&O memo, with the exception of Teach Town and Carroll Center Services for IEP students, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so now I'm going to make a motion to approve the three-year agreement to purchase grade 8 social studies curriculum for $75,418 from SAVIS to be paid in 2 equal sums in August of 2025 and August of 2026.
Second.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Ms. Bryn?
I'm very excited that this is happening for them. I say this as a third grade teacher, and I don't even have a full class set of social studies books for my kids. They have to share them. They're falling apart, and they're 30 years old.
Oh, geez.
I think
Lots has changed in 30 years.
just to add maybe some clarity based off of the conversations during finance and ops, I think some folks might remember that the social studies books were part of bucket 3. We didn't get over the 4%, but based off of working with Mr. Posca and the team within curriculum, there is some money that is going to be remaining, a small portion, which is luckily the vendor was able to break it into 2 payments for us, or 2 fiscal years. But we'll be able to support this out of the curriculum budget. So it is grade 8 social studies books and curriculum, as well as some online services. Mr. Posca, what did I miss?
Nope, you hit the nail on the head. We were fortunate to work with Mr. Grader. I had some contracts come in that were less than originally quoted. This is some resources that we had put in for FY25. It was not successful. We will continue to pilot some of these resources over the past school year, specifically in grade 8. So it would have been a change in how instruction would have occurred, because we have these resources, and the Savas was asking for us to return these resources if we did not follow through on the contract. So getting creative with the contract, making it grade 8 only to continue with those contracts and decrease the length of the licensure allowed us to get to a kind of a spot where we were fortunate we had some funds remaining to kind of pursue this for fiscal year 26.
Ms. Bryn?
So I know it says here this was supposed to be for 7th and 8th grade. It's only going on for 8th. So what are the 7th graders using?
7th grade is going to use the same materials they previously used, so it's going to be really no change in how they've previously done it. In grade 8, it would have been a change because we've had to return the online resources and the books that we've been using over the past year, so that would have been a significant change in how what we've been doing in the classroom.
Okay. Seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving the 3-year agreement to purchase grade 8 social studies curriculum for $75,418 from SAVIS to be paid in 2 equal sums in August of 2025 and August of 2026, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, my last motion is to approve the fiscal year 26 July transfer report. Second. Thank you.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the fiscal year 26 July transfer report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Anything else for F&O?
No, that's it.
Okay, I will hand the floor over to Ms. Raymond for Committee on Policy.
Thank you. So we met on August 19th for our policy committee, and we basically did all the things that we didn't get to in July because we were talking about cell phones and personal devices, and then a couple of new ones. I don't think, even the homeless youth one, I don't think we need to waive a second reading. I think it's okay to wait till September as long as because we're still following the law. But I just want to bring people's attention to some of the changes so that people read it and come with questions or email me questions if we need to change anything. BBAA, Board Member Authority, has some changes from Ed 306 law changes. And it basically is incorporating BBBAR into that policy. So we're sending that one. The same thing with BGAA. It's about how we develop policies. Nashua is already doing what the 306s require, but we are adopting language to ensure that we reflect that. IHCD, we reviewed that. That's our AP core class policy. And then we have added a new policy, IKFG, which Nashua has not had previously, regarding career exploration, the readiness, pathways, and credentials. This policy is required by state law, so we do need to add it to our policy catalog. And then JFABD, and then the two forms, R1 and R2, have quite a bit of changes to make sure that our language is completely in compliance with the McKinney-Vento Act. And so some of it is small, and mostly it's the forms. So I recommend that we approve those next time, and if anybody has specific questions or comments, policy is happy to answer them. I think that's it. The reason that there's no redlining in JFABD, even though I've just said it's changed, is because we've just adopted the New Hampshire School Board Associations. They were substantially similar, but the lawyers wrote this one, so it's better.
Right? Ms. Lampier?
I'm just wondering if IKFG, the career exploration one, is that going to be a big change for what we are actually doing as a district?
It's a good question. I don't know. I almost thought like we should send it to curriculum, but.
I think looking forward, not, previously it may have been more tailored to the 9 to 12 level and CTE career pathways there. IKFG now talks about, in our case, a 6 to 8, piece and a K to 5 piece. So we'll be working with our counselors at those levels to make sure when they go into classrooms, they're incorporating some of the college and career readiness pathway conversations with the students on a regular basis. So I think we have the avenue to have those conversations and discussions, and this just memorialize it with the policy.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Do you think that it requires something more robust than a just, career day? Bring your parent in to talk about what they do for a living?
I think over the the conversations with the counselors, whether they're going to some of the lessons that they're doing, I think that's some of the things they're going to have to be talking about. And I think to your point, it should be more than just a one and done type of thing. How does it get more incorporated into it? I give an example. I know at the middle school level, in McCarthy, there's a kind of an entrepreneur day where they pick different fields and they do some presentations on it over, and I think incorporates different of the variety of content areas. So that's not just a one and done, it's kind of more of a project or a unit they're doing. So I think it's incorporated different ways, and there's some opportunities for the schools to do some different things and that would fit their needs.
Okay, excellent.
So yeah, I have no motions.
I had a question. So as we go over these for the first reading, I know that a lot of these are combinations of ones that are already been written and things like that. But is it mandatory that they match the state, or is it just a recommendation that they match the state? Like, what's the legality of that?
So each policy has the legal references. So those are the laws that guide it. The exact language of the policy can be district-specific, provided that we meet all of the requirements laid out in each one of the laws. So we do not have to adopt the School Board Association's recommended policy. And let's be honest, frequently Nashua has had a habit of merging the two or listening to what the School Board Association wants us to do and then doing our own thing. It really is policy dependent. And so when we get technical advisories from the state, and then we get also technical advisories from the School Boards Association, letting us know which policies have had legal changes and what exactly those legal changes are. And then we bring that to the policy committee, and the policy committee talks about it, has those conversations about what language we think best fits Nashua. And then what you see here is already has gone through administration, sometimes teachers or other administrators, whatever group of people in the administration it impacts. And then it's gone to Mr. Posca and myself to try and do some wordsmithing. And then it's gone to the policy committee, where that committee does wordsmithing. And sometimes we have guests. So by the time it gets here, it's gone through several iterations. But it's still open for amendment until the second reading. So if anybody reads these and has thoughts, or if the public comes and has thoughts, I write them down, and we can choose to send it back to policy, or we can bring it back next month and vote on it. That was really thorough. Did it actually answer your question?
Yes, I heard what I needed to hear out of everything that you said. That no, we don't have to match the state, but we like to match the state and the New Hampshire School Board because it's best practice, but it hasn't always been Nashua's practice. My question was only asked because us being able to create the policies for Nashua School District is what has always set Nashua School District apart. And what I've noticed over the last couple policy changes is that we are so busy trying to match something that we don't necessarily have to match, and we're losing our individuality. So that's why I was asking that question.
Right. I think that's a fair point. I think it's important, though, that we make sure that because some of it is putting the legal parts of the law in layman's terms, right? Because if we just posted a copy of the law on our website, that doesn't tell anybody how to follow it. And so I think sometimes the School Board Association does a better job of explaining what the law requires than we do on the policy committee. So they're just better with words.
Yeah.
As we just experienced just now.
All right. And if we do get input from the School Board Association, those attorneys are available to us whenever we want. You can email them whenever. You can ask them how they got to their, how they went from point A to point B, just so you can have a better understanding of it. I know I've done that before, like, excuse me, who do you think you are? What does this mean? And they're like, oh, by the way, you don't know what you're talking about. And I go, oh, thank you.
I mean, they're really polite about it, though.
They're very polite about it. I obviously like them a lot. But yeah, they're an available resource for you in any policy that comes up to us to make sure that we're following the law and all of the laws that we have to follow as board members, which are completely separate.
But I think a good example of Nashua going its own way is our cell phone and personal device policy that we just did. Nashua did not just adopt what the School Board Association did.
Right.
There was a group of educators who had been working on it here in Nashua since the beginning of the school year, and we did our best to combine their thoughts, plus what the School Board Association thought, plus the very strong feelings of members of our board. And so Nashua's policy looks different than what they have in Sauhegan or Milford or Manchester or Merrimack. And we'll find out how that works I've asked Mr. Posca to let the policy committee know in October how the first
Yeah,
few weeks go,
12 hours and 22 minutes, Val.
right? So like, it's possible that we're too lenient. It's possible that, we have to be as strict as the law requires, but we'll find out.
Right. Yep, that'll be an interesting thing to see. All right, so anything else on policy? Okay, when's your next meeting? I don't remember. Okay. Committee on Curriculum and Evaluation, Ms. Prin, do you have any updates?
Nothing today, next meeting though, right? Talking next.
Yes, Ms. Prin and I had met and we came up with a sequence of topics that we'll present to the board over the course of the year. So we have that drafted, and our first scheduled presentation will be at the September 29th board meeting, presenting on the preschool curriculum.
Excellent, thank you.
That's good.
I'm glad you guys sat down, and I know we had been asking for that, so I'm excited to see all of our wishes and dreams come true. All right, so this brings us up to Committee on Human Resources. Ms. Gilio, I will hand the floor over to you.
Okay, I'm looking for a recommendation to suspend the rules to consider items from the HR meeting held earlier this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Yeah.
Okay, that being said, I'm recommending that we approve the personnel recommendations for August 25th, 2025, which included many, many, many new hires, and was very excited. We approved this at our earlier meeting, and I recommend that we move on with that.
Okay. Ms.
Any
Prin?
special education teachers?
Wait, let me second it first.
Okay, Ms. Raymond seconded it. So Ms. Gilio made the motion, Ms. Raymond seconded it. And Ms. Prin wants to know how many special education teachers there were.
Just looking at those contracts made me kind
Yes.
of cringe, so I was really hoping we were recruiting some special education teachers.
Okay. Any comments or questions about the personnel recommendations, Ms. Lampier?
How many special education teachers?
I did not tally up, and that was not part, was that part of his, wait a minute, let me look real quickly. Was that part of Mr. Bowser's, let me go back. I don't think it was, if I recall, but. Hold on.
There's about,
Good amount.
there's 12.5
Yeah.
Okay,
on
yeah, I
this
just
list.
brought it up. Okay.
So when we put the contracts together for finance and ops, do we already know about those 12.5?
Yes, we were aware of those.
Okay, thanks.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, so out of the 36 nominations, a third of them was special education.
Which is good.
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Raymond?
I just was really, really excited to see that we got the elementary classroom teachers filled up. And I asked because there are still some elementary openings, but it's not any of the classroom teachers, so I was really excited about that. And I was also really excited to see that there is, in fact, a speech language pathologist on this list and a couple of school psychologists. So I know that Mr. Mouse and his team was working really hard.
Yes.
I'm really excited
120
about
new
it.
hires, that's a lot of work. And there were no like smoke signals coming from district office. We didn't see any implosions. You guys did it well.
There was smoke.
There was,
I was going to say,
not noticeable to the rest of us.
I think we need a HRIS system at some point if we can get that financed. But wishful thinking there too.
Or maybe there's like a Groupon for it or something.
Yeah, right.
We'll find it. All right, guys, that's amazing. I'm excited to ask if everybody approves the personnel recommendations of August 25th, 2025. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and lastly, I'm making the recommendation to elect Tian Colicchio to the position of Civil Rights Coordinator at an annual salary of $115,000. She began on August 5th, 2025, so that is part of this motion. That was her begin date.
Second.
Oh, great.
Oh, Ms. Lampier can decide who got that one.
Okay.
Split decision.
Right. Any comments or questions?
She spoke to us earlier this evening, and we're all very excited to have her joining us. It's been a long time since we've been hoping to fill this position for a really long time. So.
We ran into her out in the hallway coming in. It was a pleasure to meet her, and
Yeah.
it sounds like she's going to be a great asset to our district and certainly take a lot of work off of Mr. Bowles' hands. Let him go back to the higher and maybe we don't need that HIS system anymore.
I'll disagree with that. Too
He can
much
go ba-
paper.
He can go back to getting his hands dirty.
Yeah. I think she's already done some great work. We all received, I believe, yesterday, some training to do. I think even you folks on the board of the education received training.
I thought that was spam.
So it is not. Since Mike's not here and Tion's not here, I'll just say, please get your training done. Reach out with questions.
Now you sound like my boss. All right, excellent. That was the Apex, right?
Yep.
See, I saw it.
Yeah, so it's a platform that we're utilizing, which is new this year, to truly track all the employees, all the staff that we have to make sure the training is being done and supported throughout the year.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Raymond?
Well, that made me think of another question, and that question is about if we're tracking the training, which I think is really smart, is there also a way for people to do confidential feedback about the training?
I actually am not positive if there's a section in there for them to give some type of feedback, but we can look into that.
Thank you. But my real question before my brain went in that direction was just to see Dr. Andrade explained at HR kind of what the vision is for this position, because this is a new position that the district hasn't had before.
Right.
And I just wondered if he would take 2 seconds to summarize it for.
Yeah.
As previously discussed, this is a position that the district has been investigating for a number of years. So this is the coordinator of civil rights. So as a district as large as us, having nearly 10,000 students and 2,000 over nearly 2,000 employees, it's really to create a welcoming and safe environment for all. So we look at the civil rights coordinator of being proactive, ensuring that we're creating policies and following our policy to make sure that it is a safe work and learning environment. There are a number of issues that come up over the course of the year. So Tian will be a chief investigator, but again, I think more importantly, we want to be proactive so that there is a point of contact for confidentiality if there are any questions on anything pertaining to civil rights. So oftentimes in the past, we would, if a complaint came up, we would use a third-party investigator, outside lawyers. So this actually just gives us a cleaner system to make sure that all investigations and policies are being followed in a thorough way without any biases or overlap between investigators and decision makers.
Fantastic. I'm excited for this. Okay, any other comments or questions? Seeing none. All those in favor of approving the administrative recommendation for Tian, how do you say the last name? Colicchio, starting August, 5th, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Excellent. Any other information for HR we need to know about? Excellent. Okay, so no unfinished business, but we do have new business. So I will hand the floor over to Dr. Andrade.
Yeah, the first item, as Mr. Hoffman explained earlier, we're looking for a recommendation to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Nashua Teachers Union entitled Differential for Special Educators.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
No, I'll make a comment.
Ms. Raymond?
I think that this is an important addition. When I saw it in the thing, I was like, I was on that negotiating team. I remember agreeing to this. But Mr. Hoffman was right. We did leave unsettled what to do with part-time employees, and I think it's good to have it very clearly spelled out how this is supposed to work. And I'm really hoping that this will help us with our recruitment and retention of our special educators, because it is not an easy job, and I'm really appreciative of the people who do that work.
Agreed.
I just want to take a moment and say thank you to the special educators, all the paras and everything for all that they do. And I'm glad that they are getting this little bit that we can give them at this time.
Okay, excellent. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the MOU with the National Teachers Unions for the differential for special educators, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, back to you, Dr. Andre.
So next is a yearly contract that we have with the Harbor Care, Harbor Homes, sorry. So I'm looking for a recommendation to approve the memorandum of understanding with Harbor Homes.
Harbor Cares, right?
Harbor Cares, sorry, this on the memo was actually wrong.
They entitle
yes,
themselves a bunch of different ways
okay.
depending on.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
So, for Harbor Care for the 25-26 school year, and as I said, this is a yearly contract with them.
I'll make the motion, but I have a question.
okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Question, Ms. Raymond?
So we have the agreement, but we don't have a memo kind of explaining exactly what the services are that they are providing to our staff and students. And I also just wanted a little bit more information about parental notification and agreement before any students' information gets sent out to Harbor Care.
Yeah, great questions. Again, I think this is, if you look at number 2, under the Harbor Care's obligations, they specify their procedures in their notifications. So in their services that they provide.
So I guess I'll rephrase it. So I know that Harbor Care is going to accept the referral, but how does this, I guess my question is, what services specifically are they providing? And how will the school let families know that they would like to refer someone for this?
Yeah, so they start up the referral with Harbor Care. Harbor Care agrees to see the student.
So this is I'm confused, I've got it backwards.
They just are able to come into our building and provide those therapeutic interventions with permission from the parents.
So this is something that the
just saying that we're
parents are
giving them an
doing.
office.
Got it. So the parents have contracted with Harbor Care to get services for their child.
And it's independent billing. Harbor Care does their own Medicaid, Medicare billing, private insurance. We're not in charge of that. We're literally just giving them a space.
So we're not making necessarily referrals. It is something that, it's a service we're providing the community, the space for those families who already are doing this.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And I believe we do the same thing for Greater Nashua.
Yes.
And we used to do it for Youth Council.
Right, I remember the youth council one, yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So that resolves my concerns about parental involvement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's nice to have the expert as the board.
What do I know about all of this stuff? All right. Okay, so this brings up, sorry, I lost my.
Need a vote on that?
Yes. We need to get back to the agenda.
Makes me think of one other question. Sorry. So the other question I have is there any discussion with Harbor Care or with the parent about the impact of this on a student's academic needs? Like, do they try and manage it around student schedules? I imagine there are some needs that they're providing for where that's a greater priority for the family, but is the school involved in any of those discussions?
They have conversations at the school level on what's the convenient time of when a student may or may not be pulled from a class. Again, so these services aren't happening in a classroom setting. We provide an office, but they'll work with the families on what's the best time to provide those services.
Okay. I'm just thinking of my own children, when they need a dentist appointment, Like, I'm like, when do you have an exam, right? But I don't necessarily call up the teacher and ask them that. I just ask my own child. So who knows how transparent they're being.
Yeah, right. All right, seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving the MOU with Harbor Care for the 25-26 school year, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
So the next item is another reflection of the great community that we are in. So this is a recommendation to accept a grant from the Conway Arena and the City of Nashua Ice Rink Commission in the amount of $20,000 to be used toward uniforms for the new high school hockey cooperative teams for boys, Nashua North and Nashua South, and girls, Sohegan, Nashua North, and Nashua South.
Oh, I want to make that motion. Yay.
Second. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Johnson. I can rescind, I will rescind my motion so Mr. Johnson can make it and then.
Okay, so Mr. Johnson makes the motion and Ms. Prin seconds.
I will make the motion.
Okay, okay.
We're so collegial.
We know everybody's passion. We know. We try to support that. All right, any comments or questions? Who's approving what the uniforms look like? Ms. Gingras?
Yes, Ms. Gingras, and I think they already have a design.
Nice. I can't wait to see it.
And do they have names? Or is that for later?
Oh, team names.
Team names.
Who gets to decide?
I'm not quite sure.
I bet it's a cooperative between.
Yeah, I'll ask Ms. Gingras, but I know that when there was a ceremony last week accepting the check, and people already had comments about the colors. So I know there are some team colors.
Question.
Yes.
And so the grant was only for $20,000 and they originally wanted $30,000. Have they raised enough money to pay for the other $10,000, or is it still going to be a wait for the uniforms?
Want me to answer that based off of the funding? So my understanding is they're going to utilize the $20,000 grant first. If there's additional funding they need, they will be able to pull it out of the special revenue account. Lisa is optimistic that she can achieve some of the numbers and potentially be right around 20,000. Otherwise, she does have a little bit of money in her special revenue account.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Okay, so all those in favor of approving this $20,000 grant provided generously to us from the Conway Arena and the City of Nashua Ice Rink Commission for uniforms, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes with extreme gratitude to these folks. Okay, so this brings us up to our final new business. I actually just wanted to bring it back. It's been about a year since we've discussed our board goals. I just wanted to touch base with you guys. I know we've been talking evaluations and all that fun stuff. So just looking for feedback in regards to, I'm gonna get the board goals in 1 minute. I just have to click out of here. Oh my goodness. This is just user error. I haven't been in front of this tablet for, feels like forever. Oh, hey, there's the training I need to do. Thank you. So the board goals that we had come up with last year, oh my goodness, I just lost it again. Anyway, it was about, being budget friendly and supporting our teachers and staff and retention and ensuring that all of our students have academic experiences that they are proud of. How do you guys feel like we've been doing on that? Okay. So we'll be looking at kind of updating our goals, having the same kind of board conversation once we know who the new members are going to be. I felt like us sitting down and coming up with those specific points for us was a really good way at keeping us kind of on a forward trajectory, and I was able to organize our agendas so that we were focusing on things that we had identified as goals. We'll relook at those when we have new board members in place, just to make sure that everybody is still in agreement, but also looking for feedback on kind of how our meetings have been run. Have we been happy with how they've been going? Feel like we've had a lot of extra questions lately. So I was wondering if there was anything that I could do better to help us work more efficiently or effectively. So I was looking for feedback on my role. Don't make me cry, but I was just looking if you guys had any input for me. Ms. Gilio?
Yeah, over the past year, I want to say, my blood pressure is much lower. So thank you.
Good. Mr. Johnson?
No, now that we've been through our second year, it's definitely been something that's improving as we move along. I think a lot of us new members, when we first were elected, came on with a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainties, and a lot of that's been addressed, and we've seen improvement. So, great job.
Thank you. Ms. Prin?
I kind of want to piggyback on that. I'm feeling like as time has gone on, we've become more transparent and the communication has gotten better, and that's helped me become a better board member too, just because my understanding, because of the way the meetings have been run, my understanding of how things are supposed to go has gotten better.
Oh, good.
And I appreciate your leadership for that.
How are we feeling about what's in the packets to review? Are we feeling like because I do sit down with the superintendent and come up with like what's being presented. Are you guys feeling like there's enough information in the packets? I know we don't always necessarily reach out to administration when we have questions, but they're obviously always available. But do you guys feel like you're getting enough information within the packets to make informed decisions before we come in? I don't know what to call you. Ms. Daniels-Williams?
So, I mean, I appreciate your leadership. I think that we have come a long way, but I also do feel like there is a lot further to go with the communication. I think that one of the things that I've learned is how I can say no to votes that day. I didn't know that firsthand at the beginning. I feel like pushing things through that we don't really understand or that we haven't had the opportunity to unpack is not fair to us or the people watching or the district that it affects. So nothing on you. I think that you communicate, you reach out to us, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that we're abreast of what's going on, but I do feel like there needs to be more communication, more time spent unpacking things and what they actually mean. It needs to be less push and more pull in. I feel like help us to understand exactly what this is going on. Even like some of the decisions that we made today, we hadn't heard for a while. Like talking about our goals from last year. I mean, if we're only going to talk about goals once a year, then, what's the point of goals? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know where you're going, where you can redirect, where you can correct during that year. I'm looking forward to bringing on new board members and hopefully, just making it better for the Nashua School District. But thank you for all that you do. There's nothing that you particularly have done.
Yeah.
So
Can I ask you a follow-up in regards to the information that you feel that you would need more of? Can you give me some feedback on how you could get more of those answers before the meetings, or like what kind of guided conversations need to be happening? Is it more of an educational piece in regards to what's being presented? Or is it, there's a lot of room for growth and understanding a lot of the stuff that these guys do. I mean, I'm not an administrator, so I don't try to guess what you guys are doing, but is there a way that I can get this information to you in a better manner so that we feel like there's more understanding before we go for a vote?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to unpack that. So Friday at 5 o'clock, getting something for Monday. This week we got it on Wednesday because it's the summer, but usually it's not there. Or we're being handed papers in session. Like, I think that to do, for transparency, to be able to dig into what's going on, to understand what's going on Friday at 5, and then meeting on Monday, I think that we need more time, especially there's how many policies? 8 or so policies just today. So just being able to read those things for the first reading. Yes, I got it on Wednesday, today's Monday. How do you unpack that before the next meeting? 8 of them on top of finance and
No,
ops.
I'm really sorry. What are you talking about that we got on Wednesday? Because I didn't get the board packets until Friday at 5.
Oh, maybe it was the training I got on Wednesday.
The JSSBC stuff started going up, but that was accidental.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying, like, so that's when I started looking at it. So yeah, Wednesday, I got the August 28th meeting, and then that's part of it too. We just got our Board of Education email, making sure that sometimes this tablet doesn't work till we get in this room. As many of us have said that, so I can't check it at home, you know what I mean? So it's ridiculous if on Monday we have a meeting and we just got it on Friday, but you can't open it till Monday. I've contacted IT, I've done all the above, you know what I'm saying? And that's not always, but that's throughout this year, this 2-year stint, So the question originally was, how can you make it easier? I think that giving out the agenda earlier, like Dr. Scarpati and Ms. Print have already set up a line of what they're going to talk about. That would be helpful. You don't have to unpack each and every line item, but at least you know what's coming, So I hope that explains some of what I'm saying. Just more time to unpack the information, especially when it's a lot and is important.
So with the new information, because the rest of the board agenda is typically like what's been presented in committee, but with the new agenda items, you would like to just be able to have a little bit more time to dig into them.
Yes.
Okay. I'm concerned about your tablet not working at home because they should all work over Wi-Fi. That's concerning because...
I've sent the email.
Okay. Maybe we can set you up with Greg. Do you have any time this week?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll make time. I'm here in town.
What?
I said, I'm here in town. I'll make the time.
I thought you said I'm here till 10 and I was
I
like,
have returned.
I didn't mean tonight. Okay, let's get that set up because you need to be able to access your emails, not just in this boardroom, because that's not helpful to you.
Right.
I'm sure it's very challenging to know what's happening if you're only seeing it right before you walk in. Ms. Raymond, I saw your eye contact.
I just think that it's important to note that when Ms. Kinsella sends us an email, she or someone from her office also posts all of this stuff on the district website.
Yes.
So I know our student board members, for example, don't get the email because sometimes the email has confidential things. But I showed them when they first got on how to go to the website and access all of the agenda and meeting materials.
Well, we do get an email, but it's just like the first page of the agenda.
Right.
So I'd have to, every time I'm here, I go onto the website and pull it up.
Right, so that's there for anybody in the community, including anybody on this board, to go and read every agenda, every piece of supporting documentation that we have goes up there Fridays. And then I would just say, for policy and for all of the other committees, those usually happen the week before or even 2 weeks before our meeting. And so we get that packet the Friday before those meetings with everything that we're going to talk about and the proposed language, so all that redlining.
Yeah.
There is some difference based on what we talked about, but it's not like a whole policy that's being rewritten. It's usually add this paragraph, move this around. And those minutes are usually on the website to read about what changes were made.
Yeah.
If you just want to read a one-pager before we come here. So like the policy, I don't typically read all the other committee meeting minutes, and I'm sorry, but for policy, when we make a motion, we want to approve this policy, and then I literally list in the motion all of the changes. Right. There's a documented paper trail of what we did. So there's places on the website if we're having trouble accessing email.
And the only time kind of this discussion doesn't necessarily happen is in HR, because we have HR right before the meeting. Doing HR right before the meeting is something that started years ago, but it's not something that we need to do. So if you want to, Ms. Gilio, work with admin on moving HR to not right before the meeting, if that's helpful. But that's.
I guess I'd like input. I guess I'd like input because, we still get the information on Friday.
Yeah.
So that everyone who has access is able to see on Friday what we're going to be discussing at the meeting. So I don't know that we need to have a different time for the HR meeting, but.
And I think it was kind of coupled tightly like that because HR does a lot of interviews. So you guys are actually dedicating a lot more time during the week to be available in district office.
Right.
So that could be, it got really cold in here. Okay, I'm not the only one.
I'm willing to, to take input, but, as long as we get all the information on Friday, usually I feel very comfortable when I come at 5:30 for the HR meeting. I don't know about the rest of the HR committee. And but I'm not unwilling to meet at another time if that's necessary.
Okay. Just in the vein of moving forward and doing better. So, Ms. Lampier?
I just wanted to say that one of the things that I find really helpful is to watch the meetings on YouTube. A lot of times I'll rewatch the finance and operations meeting because I like to be tortured apparently. And it does help me though, right? Because like there was, I wasn't clear about the curriculum stuff, the books that we were ordering for grade 8. So I rewatched the meeting and was able to take better notes than I did while the meeting was going on. And I was able to understand it better. And like I say, I watched it, but I really just listened to it like while I was doing housework and stopped to write things down or rewound a little bit so I could find it again. That just really helps me to understand it a lot. And that way, of course I read through all the finance stuff. And then I read through all the policy stuff usually because I'm usually at the meetings. But as far as like curriculum goes, especially like the presentations that they've had, I really like to watch or listen to those more than I do to read it because you really get a better sense of the fullness of the presentation if you're listening to it. Christina, Ms. Darling used to always vote no on our minutes from the last meeting because we previously, years ago, in previous times, we had verbatim minutes. And now, like...
Puns lived forever.
Yes. And I used to, like, before I got on the board, I would, like, it was like watching a soap opera. I was like, oh my God, what's going on now? But so I think it's probably healthier that we don't have verbatim minutes. But, the minutes that we have now, you kind of get the very basics, but I feel like unless I'm in the meeting myself or I watch it on YouTube, I'm not really getting it all. So I would advise anyone watching too that likes to watch really boring stuff that you get a lot out of it. So.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Johnson.
I'll just add to all this that we also have to have responsibility to be proactive with all of this as well. We need to make sure we do take our time to look over the minutes and look over notes. I mean, I always think when people ask questions about policy and I'm like, why don't you know about that? Well, I'm on policy, so yeah, of course I know. But I would recommend that everyone on the board at least take a few minutes to, look at the YouTube or look at the minutes to get an idea of what's coming on. Like the cell phone policy, yes, the state made the changes that we needed to adapt, but we've been talking about the cell phone policy for months. So it wasn't like something that was just sprung up. This was an ongoing thing that then got accelerated with the laws passed by the state. So we, as a board, should be proactive with that. And again, also, if we have questions or we have concerns or we have anything like that, we should reach out to the administration and ask them these things. I'm part of, again, we voted on that, the hockey uniforms. A lot of that hockey thing started because of approaching the administration and saying, hey, there's a passion in the community for girls hockey. Can we get this done? And within 2 years, it's going to be a reality. So never feel that you can't approach the administration. If you do have concerns, if you do have problems, if you do feel that things aren't getting done, there's nothing stopping you from saying, hey, can we do this?
So I think what I'm hearing is mostly surrounding new business. And I think what I will do to help the meetings run a little bit more smoothly is probably, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I don't want to tease out new business and like send out more information, but like with Mr. Johnson, I know what his topics are that he's really interested in. It would be easy enough for me to be like, hey, heads up, this policy or this motion is coming forward that I know you're pretty passionate about. You may want to review this and get in touch with Mario before the meeting happens. So a little bit of it is me knowing you guys a little bit more and being able to pull you in earlier. We definitely follow the law in regards to when our agendas go out and the board packets go out, which is why it's Friday at 5, because that's the 72 hours beforehand. But maybe with the new business, I just need to listen to you more and maybe ask to elongate some of those opportunities.
Yeah, so I think part of it, and I think Ms. Brennan, Dr. Scarpati is kind of, as they're forecasting or foreshadowing future conversations, because I think there's twofold of conversations. We have regular business meetings, so we have the subcommittee that might talk about F&O or policy, and that's where the crux of the work is happening there, and then it's carried over to a BOE business meeting. And I was just kind of looking at, we really only have 20 meetings per school year together. There's not really a lot of time if you break it down that way.
Feels like an interminable amount of time though.
Right. But it's not, like when you break it down and 10 of those meetings are like business meetings and recap. And then, so I think really looking at our goals for this year on those topics that are going to be important, I think we can forecast. We've, Ms. Bishop and I have been having a conversation on, we will be doing a special education presentation. And, so how do we, I think that's September or October, that's coming up. So how do we get that information out to you early enough that you can ask your questions or review it, and then, if there's things that are missing, that we have ample time to add to the packet. So I think there's some big items, or when we're talking about academic outcomes, and we know that's going to be a presentation, we can get that information out earlier. But when we're in the flow of things on the admin side, when the last minute things come to our attention, can you add this? It becomes a little difficult in timing. But if we look at, our 10 workshop type meetings and we have 10 topics, then I think there's ample time to get that out prior and make sure that you have that information. So I think that's going to be really important just to meet our goals. So just, a couple of topics this year, special education is going to be one. We'll be talking about curriculum at the end of September, our academic outcomes. We'll have a district strategic plan that we'll be looking at. Our facilities master plan might be, so there's a couple things coming down the pike. And then even last year, again, how do we provide opportunities, not just in F&O, to really unpack our budget and better understanding. So there are a number of items that we can talk about to go deeper, because not everything can fit into 20 meetings per year. The business side of school happens really fast, and not everything can fit into an agenda, or our meetings will be 14 hours long, or meeting more frequently. So I think just really going back to what's our goals, what's our key items that we want to discuss and really unpack on how that's going to transform the meetings going forward. And then again, a lot of the other work happens in subcommittees, and then that's just really reported out at the business meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Raymond?
Is it possible to, not necessarily indicate on the agenda, but just know, what topics in new business are things that are being presented and are timely and must be acted on that night versus what things are being presented, but we could potentially, because we have 2 meetings a month, present it at the beginning of the month and vote on it at the end?
Well, technically, new business, we can elect to throw to committee when it's presented here if it's not time pressing.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know
maybe we don't need a whole committee meeting to discuss it.
Right.
Maybe we just need to go home and sleep on it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's just my thought.
Do you think that that's something that we should discuss in the meeting, or is it something that collectively you guys can reach out to admin and be like, there's a significant blind spot that I'm seeing. Here are my questions. I may not be ready to answer it, or I may not be able to vote the night that it's presented. And then Mario can be like, we can discuss it in depth this meeting and we can vote on it next meeting. But just like give him a heads. I just don't want to have board meeting conversations with me that are violating right to know. But would you guys be able to reach out to admin?
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think
me?
it's both, I think.
Do you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, I think we could reach out to admin while at the same time reserving that we may need to, during the meeting, decide that we need to take, to.
Extra time.
Extra time.
Right, because I think that the main complaint in the past has been big decisions were presented and needed to be voted on the same night. Or we, as a board, were like, we need multiple nights for this. So I think that there needs to be an awareness when writing an agenda that, hey, this board may require extra time with this topic. So how you're supposed to know that, I don't necessarily know.
I think at this point, depending on what's coming up, if you guys feel like I'm listening to you well, maybe I do have that kind of crystal ball on what you guys would want more time on. But I'm not perfect. I mean, I am. But.
Communication. I think communication goes both ways. Like I said, we need to communicate as well. If we have an issue, we shouldn't just be waiting to the meeting to bring it up. We should say, oh, wait, this is going to be an issue, and reach out to you, reach out to the administration, and let our thoughts be known before we get to the meeting. So that way we're being proactive.
Yeah, and especially if you just have questions about definitions of words or purpose or something that's just glaringly, I don't understand what's being presented. That doesn't necessarily have to wait for the board. That can be done with a phone call. Because we have amazing admin staff, Tara's already emailed and said she wasn't aware that you were having any issues with your thing. So would love to follow up on whoever you tried to connect with IT so she can help out. So she is ready to jump on the issues, Ms. Daniels Williams Lopez Shawanda.
Thank you. Yes.
So that you can have access to all of this all the time. Okay, please continue to give me your feedback. It's obviously, I want to make sure that these meetings are run well and with some efficiency and feeling like everybody's been listened to. But, okay, so I think we're good. Thank you guys for participating in that. And I think with our board goals, we'll readdress them probably after the strategic plan is presented to us, because I think it's going to be in line with what we've already been discussing. But just, it helps me keep the agenda centered. We're not going to be adding agenda items to add a unicorn barn when there's absolutely no goal with our board to have a unicorn barn. So
We can have that?
Apparently, you just said it if you ask for it.
I want one.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you for indulging me with that. I really appreciate it. And this brings us up to our second public comment period. And I believe it was already Gary and Alex. Gary, come on down.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street, Townhouse D, Nashua, New Hampshire. First, I'd just like to thank the board for passing the differential for special educators. It is certainly appreciated. I would also like to echo Mr. Johnson's comments about girls' ice hockey. I'm glad that that's happening. I spoke with the future forward of that team on Thursday, and they're ready to hit the ice. Third, to Heather's point earlier about district training, I did receive a lot of feedback today about the district training, and I think that your idea of having a confidential feedback on that training is fantastic and would certainly be appreciated. So I really like that idea. Fourth, regarding board goals, one thing I would recommend this board to do is to go back to one of the most basic things, the city charter. In that city charter, the authority of the school board is clearly enumerated. Yet I rarely, not just this board, but any boards, have ever really recognized it. So it might be good to kind of take a look at that. And I certainly more transparency is always a good goal to have. One thing that I wish that had occurred during budget season last year that I hope happens this year, and this had occurred in previous years, is when the district makes changes, and every year they have to reshuffle and make some changes regarding staff. It'd be nice to have like a document where the board and the public could see the changes that were made. We're moving these positions to here. These are some new positions created kind of in a one sort of document. We've seen that in the past. I didn't see it this past year, so that would be one great thing to look forward maybe in this upcoming budget season. And so that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Alex, Homola, come on down.
Hi, Alex Mola, 6 Air Street, Nashua. I actually just had some praise tonight. I thought everybody can use some good stuff for a change. I visited the website today to check the agenda, and much to my pleasure, it was lovely. So if Cam's watching, thank you. I also checked on my phone before I left, and I was like, oh, it's user-friendly. So that was awesome. With my PTO hat on, I also want to give a thanks more publicly to Fidelity, who came to Mount Pleasant a couple weeks ago and totally transformed our playground. You are all openly welcome to come to our playground anytime. They provided us with 8 ? I even lost count. Picnic tables that were totally unexpected, all painted, brand new, Popscotch, you name it, sensory walk, all of it. So that was a really great privilege that we were able to do that. So thank you to them. That was it.
Thank you. Thank you. We love hearing about all that community involvement. Okay. So wrapping up board member comments, and then we do have a non-public that we need to go into.
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
Yes, you were, because we had a meeting last week. And I said we would be presenting it in a non-public today.
Oh, I thought that was just the end of it last week. I did not realize that.
No. I said
might
I'd
have to
finish it
leave.
up. Okay, it'll be quick anyway. Okay, Ms. Raymond, board member comments.
Just welcome back. I hope everybody has everything they need. This summer, I was lucky enough to be involved in the National Goes Back to School planning, and I know that there were a few extra school supplies at the end of that, which are with the United Way. So if any teachers find that they have needs or families have unmet needs at this point, the United Way has some supplies available if people reach out to them. So thank goodness for our community partners.
Yes. I need teenage boys sneakers.
I meant school supplies.
I thought that was on the list. I need new shoes. Ms. Prin.
No, just again, welcome everyone back, and otherwise, no comment.
Mr. Claffey.
No comment.
Mr. Johnson.
What size?
I think he's like a 13 by now.
13? Wow. Severn's a 13.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch. Otherwise, no, good luck to everyone coming back to school. It's amazing to hear about the community with the ice hockey and with the Mount Pleasant playground. We have a great community in Nashua, and we definitely need to keep tapping into that.
Yes. Ms. Gilio.
Happy back to school to everybody.
Yes. Ms. Daniels Williams Lopez Shawanda.
So I just wanted to say that I'm thankful for the additional stipend for the special education educators. I'm looking forward to the expanding real-world education that's coming up. I'm glad to hear that we have a growing student population. Thank you, Cam, for the new website. And I'm glad about the 120 new employees that are coming on this year, and that there will be training available and that it will be tracked. So I'm very thankful for that. Thankful for the social studies books for the 8th graders, and I'm glad that the 7th graders still have some. The highlight of the day today was meeting the civil rights coordinator. So I'm glad that we filled that after many years of looking, and I'm looking forward to doing the training. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lampier.
Well, I'm going to be a downer again. So I've been reading about the problems at Claremont this past week, and it's horrifying. It's like my worst nightmare as a board member is to see our community let down in such a way. And so I just want to say how grateful I am for our board and for our administrators who keep such a close eye on everything and make sure that we are walking the straight and narrow so that our children can come to school and know that there will be teachers there. I mean, Claremont had to cancel the contracts of 100 and something teachers at the same time that we were able to hire teachers. And of course, I also just want to throw out there that Claremont has been saying since the early 90s that the state is not funding their schools properly, but they're still legally obligated to provide services for kids. So they've been kind of holding on for 30 years, waiting for help from the state, and it's not coming. And it's pretty disgusting. So if you want to do some advocating up at the State House, or if you're upset about our schools in New Hampshire, remember that it's not the local school boards as much as it is our state legislature and our governor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, again, welcome back to school, everybody. I'm sure you guys are excited to get back to your regularly scheduled programming. And I am asking for us to go into a non-public under 91A32A. No, you're not.
Hiring, promotion, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we did last time.
Yeah, that's 2B. No, that's hiring.
It
No,
says promotion.
2C, sorry, 91A32C. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have to do roll call. I'll do the roll call.
Okay.
Ms. Raymond?
Yes.
Ms. Prin?
Yes.
Mr. Claffey?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Gilio?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels Williams Lopez Shawanda?
Yes.
And Ms. Lampier?
Yeah.
And I say yes as well. So we are now in non-public. It is 7:40. This should take 10 minutes.